Hello, and welcome to the 36th Annual Arizona MLK Living the Dream Virtual Celebration, presented by PetSmart and Verizon. This celebration is a partnership of the City of Phoenix and hosted at the beautiful Orpheum Theater in downtown Phoenix. I'm Ron Williams, chairperson of the Arizona MLK Committee's events and activities. I'm honored to co-chair this celebration with the 2017 Calvin C. Good Lifetime Achievement Award honoree, Valerie Churchwell. We're coming to you in this virtual environment to ensure the continued safety of our participants. On behalf of Dr. Jean Blue, our committee chair, we welcome you. We have a great program for you and have some exciting guests. In addition to comments from Arizona Congressman Greg Stanton and Ruben Gallego, we will have a keynote from the man who spearheaded the Dr. Martin Luther King holiday in Arizona, Dr. Pastor Warren H. Stewart Sr. And we are so humbled to have the son of Dr. King, Martin Luther King III, and his wife, Andrea King, join us. So enjoy the celebration. And now, a word from our presenting sponsors, PetSmart and Verizon.
I'd do anything
for you, dear. Anything
for you mean everything to me.
I know that I'd risk everything
for one kiss, everything.
Yes, I do.
Anything.
Is the sweater too much?
Anything for you.
And now, to provide opening remarks, please welcome Arizona MLK Lifetime Achievement Award honoree and Arizona MLK Legacy Award honoree, Dr. Jean Blue. Dr. Blue is the president and CEO of the Arizona OIC and chairperson of the Arizona MLK Celebration Committee. Please welcome Dr. Jean Blue.
Good morning. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was an outstanding citizen of this country. He cared deeply, and he offered himself and the principles on which he stood for the least, the lost, and those left out of our society. He prayed, he meditated annually, daily, that current and future generations would learn to love and respect each other and respect folks for the content of their character, not for the color of their skin. In honor of Dr. King's memory, can we do less? Can we show less affection for each other? This year, 2022, marks 36 years of Arizona's celebration of the life and legacy of Dr. King. We share a unique position, and that this is the only state where a public vote declared the Martin Luther King Jr. holiday a holiday for all. And we recognize today, as well as for the unseen future, the challenge given to us to maintain and hold fast to the dream and the vision of Martin Luther King. At a time when we are held hostage by a pandemic, a time when we have a lack of civility, we are hard-pressed to make advocacy for peace and justice, but hold fast we must. At a time when peace and worship are pushed aside and a lack of trust prevails, it's difficult to hold fast, to hope, but hold fast we must. Today, we recognize and give our thanks to the honorees, to our keynote speaker, a warrior, Dr. Warren H. Stewart, Sr., and to the son of Martin Luther King, Jr., the son who is with us today. Today, our iconic bearers of hope and trust rest in our youth. And we choose, as the citizens of Arizona, to join in the celebration, and we say unanimously, not just to this country, but to the world. We choose to inspire. We choose to lead, not by fear, but by faith. Join us in this 36th celebration. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Blue, for your many years of leadership in the Arizona community. We'll now have a quick word from our sponsors at the Arizona Community Foundation.
Hello, I'm Lisa Urias, Chief Program and Community Engagement Officer at the Arizona Community Foundation. On behalf of ACF, we're proud to partner with the Arizona Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Celebration Committee and the Phoenix Human Relations Commission for the 36th Annual MLK Awards and Scholarship Celebration. ACF is the state's largest grant maker and independent provider of college scholarships, including the Bishop Henry L. Barnwell MLK Scholarship Fund, that's a beneficiary of the program today. ACF is committed to embodying the ideas of Dr. King, working in partnership with our donors to support fair and equitable access to resources and opportunity, and to invest in nonprofit organizations that can bring our communities, our public institutions, and our fellow citizens together to heal and make Arizona better for all. Congratulations to all of today's honorees, especially our board chair, Robin Coulon, our Vice President of Community Initiatives, Kim Covington, and Lloyd Hopkins, a member of the ACF REAP Giving Circle. We're so happy to celebrate and recognize you today.
Thank you, Arizona Community Foundation. We must thank our mayor and city council members. The Phoenix City Council is made up of a mayor and 8 council members. From District 1, Council Member Ann O'Brien. District 2, Council Member Jim Waring. District 3, Council Member Deborah Stark. District 4, Council Member and Vice Mayor Laura Pastor. District 5, Council Member Betty Guardado. District 6, Council Member Sal DeCiccio. District 7, Yasemin Ansari. District 8 Council Member Carlos Garcia. Our great mayor, the Honorable Kate Gallego. And finally, I'd like to thank the City of Phoenix first Black City Manager, Mr. Jeff Barton. Mr. Barton, thank you for your ongoing support. Next, to provide welcoming remarks is the mayor of the 5th largest city in the United States, Phoenix Mayor Kate Gallego. She's also the 2nd elected female in Phoenix history and the youngest big city mayor in our nation. Please welcome Mayor Kate Gallego.
Hello, I'm Phoenix Mayor Kate Gallego. Welcome to our 2022 celebration of Dr. Martin Luther King. I appreciate you all coming together to celebrate Dr. King's legacy and to capture our theme around living the dream. We would not be here today without a group of strong community leaders. I want to thank Dr. Jean Blue and Arizona OIC. Dr. Blue has been working so hard in our community as the chair of the MLK committee and in his day-to-day work. Ron Williams, he has such a commitment to this event and its year-round legacy. Thank you for serving as chairman. I get to work regularly with Valerie Churchwell, who is co-chairing this event and founded the Torch Run. These individuals are our partners in making Dr. King's vision a reality. Throughout the year, we've worked together to support our small businesses, to make sure our young people have opportunities in this community, and I appreciate their partnership. I'm also thankful that they've worked hard to make sure that we can celebrate Dr. King's legacy in a way that recognizes we have had some tough losses due to COVID-19. I hope the city can continue to be a partner in fighting this difficult virus. We're working on making testing more available, in providing more vaccinations through our mobile units. We're going to be out in the community. We don't have a public health department, but we know this is what our community needs from us, and we are hoping to step up in a time of need. I want to really take a moment to celebrate some of the people who've inspired this event. Our Lifetime Achievement Award is named for Calvin Good. Calvin Good was our 2nd African-American councilman at the City of Phoenix and longest serving. We lost Vice Mayor Good recently, but we remember him throughout the year, including by recognizing our Lifetime Achievement Award winner with an award given in Vice Mayor Good's name. We have a powerful winner this year. Robin Coulon has been a dynamic leader in this community. I knew that she would be a great partner and have asked her to serve in many, many roles, including the Mayor's African American Advisory Committee chairmanship. She's advised the city and me on a variety of issues, including public safety issues and making sure that we serve those who are most vulnerable during COVID-19, including older adults. So Robin, thank you for all you have done. We recognize a great group today, and you'll get to learn a lot more about them, but I want to add my congratulations to Kim Covington, Lloyd Hopkins, Nadia Kaligi, and Richard Yarbo. Your work is a testament to your deep commitment to give back to this community. Thank you for your partnership. You are living great values consistent with Dr. King's vision. I'm proud of how far we've come in the city of Phoenix, and with your hard work, I know we have more we can accomplish together. I wish you a great 2022.
Thank you, Mayor Gallego. It has been the tradition of this celebration to open the program each year with the infamous Torch Runners, who bring us the flame of hope, now in their 16th year, led by our co-chair, Valerie Churchwell.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, I believed a lot of the things that Martin Luther King represented, especially his courage. His courage was so great. I mean, he gave up his life and he molded young people, their characters. And that's what inspired me about doing this.
What inspired me to be in the torch run is Martin Luther King did so much for young kids. There was a lot of racism, there was inequality among social classes, and if we don't carry on that legacy, then there wouldn't really be much to remember him and much to remember what he did and what he stood for.
I think it's important to carry on his legacy because there are still parts of the world where not everyone is equal. So having a new generation also fight for what he believed in is really important, and I would like to help continue that.
I've had the pleasure to lead the Flame of Hope Torch Run for the past 16 years. This tradition truly captures the essence of its name, hope. Hope for generations to come after us, and hope to carry on the importance of service, fairness, and equality for all people.
Let's please welcome our co-chairs. Ron Williams is a decorated veteran of the United States Air Force, a humanitarian, and an award-winning community and business leader. He is both an Arizona MLK Living the Dream Award honoree, as well as an Arizona MLK Calvin C. Good Lifetime Achievement Award honoree. Valerie Churchwell is a decorated community leader who was honored as the 2017 Arizona MLK Calvin C. Good Lifetime Achievement Award honoree. Please welcome Ron Williams and Valerie Churchwell.
Thank you. I'm just so honored to share the stage with our co-chair this year. Valerie couldn't be with us on site here at the Orpheum Theater, but through the power of technology, she joins us virtually. I want to thank the Honorable Jean Blue for the opportunity to serve on this committee for the last 20 years. I'm thrilled that we get to share this celebration virtually worldwide. Valerie, we have a great celebration to share with our audience today, and it has been a pleasure to work with you this year.
Hi, I'm Valerie Churchwell, and I'm the co-chair for this year's Arizona Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Living the Dream celebration. We are so happy that you were able to join us for today's event. I'd like to say thank you to Dr. Jean Blue and Ron Williams for inviting me to serve as co-chair for this year's celebration. I am truly grateful to each of you for your leadership and guidance. The trust and confidence that you have both extended to me in this role means the world. To the MLK Celebration Committee, it has truly been a pleasure to work alongside you, not only this year, but for the past 15 years. Your thoughtfulness and your efforts to ensure Dr. King's legacy is celebrated and lifted every year without fail continue to inspire me. And to all of today's honorees, thank you for being excellent examples of servant leaders and continuing to make a difference every day to the organizations, communities, and individuals that you serve. Remember, helping one person may not change the whole world, but it may change the world for one person. Again, it has truly been an honor to serve as the co-chair for the 2022 Arizona Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Living the Dream celebration. Thank you for this opportunity and enjoy today's program.
Thank you, Valerie. We received tremendous feedback from across the country about our 35th year celebration. In particular, it was noted that our interfaith participation really illustrated the coming together of all people. That was great feedback for us because we feel that it was what Dr. King wanted for our world. We have been pleased to work with the Arizona Interfaith Movement. I want to thank our long-term committee member, Ed Casper, and Reverend Katie Sexton for their coordination and collaboration on this portion of our program. After our invocation by Deacon Joan Crawford, we will listen to the sounds of Arizona's very own harmonica player, Julian Davis, who will perform the national anthem, followed by Lift Every Voice and Sing, the Black National Anthem. Now, for our invocation, please welcome Deacon Joan Crawford.
Hi, I'm Reverend Joan Crawford, a deacon in the Ecumenical Catholic Communion, and I'm pleased to be here today to offer a prayer and represent the Christian tradition. Let us bow our heads. O God of power and might and awe and wonder, O God of love and compassionate mercies, we acknowledge your presence here today as we celebrate the life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Our brother Martin not only studied your scriptures, but he preached the gospel of Jesus of Nazareth. And in doing so, he lived out the two great commandments. He loved God with his whole heart, mind, and soul, and he loved his neighbor as himself. And in doing so, he sacrificed his life. So it is fitting that today we pause and we thank God for Martin. And we thank Martin for answering the call. And we ask God of many names to give us the strength and the courage to be like Martin. Teach us, oh God, to not waver when things get tough. Teach us to keep on keeping on, even though friends, family, and sometimes church will abandon us. Give us perseverance when we begin to self-doubt. Give us the courage to use nonviolent resistance when it is called for. Help us to combine intellectual capacity with heartfelt insight so that we can be caring and effective leaders. And dear God, show us how to love. Not a selective love, but an inclusive kind of love. The love that Dr. King demonstrated so well. Indeed, it was he who said, "We are tied together in a single garment of destiny." So let us move forward together in love and peace and understanding. We ask this from our God of many names. Amen, amen, hallelujah, amen.
Thank you, Deacon Crawford, Julian Davis, and our torch runners. Now, for a very important part of our program, please join me as we welcome our interfaith leaders. Rabbi Robert Kravitz will begin and bless us from the Jewish faith and play the shofar. He will be followed by the Baha'i faith, followed by the Hindu faith, followed by the Muslim faith. Please welcome Rabbi Robert Kravitz.
This is the 36th year of the Martin Luther King celebration. 36 in our tradition means 2 times life, your life and our life together. The sound of the shofar teaches us to listen. We heard the sound of the shofar at Mount Sinai when the 10 Commandments gave us law to follow. We heard the sound of the shofar in battles as we prepared, as we do today for voting rights. We heard the sound of the shofar in celebration of festivals, as we do today to celebrate the Martin Luther King Living the Dream commemoration. The different shofar sounds have different meanings and grab each of us separately and together. Listen to the sound of the shofar.
Nadia Kaligi, the Baha'i Faith. O my God, verily I invoke thee and supplicate before thy threshold, asking thee that all thy mercies may descend upon these souls, specialize them for thy favor and thy truth. O Lord, unite and bind together the hearts, join and accord all the souls, and exhilarate the spirits through the signs of thy sanctity and oneness. O Lord, make these faces radiant through the light of thy oneness. Strengthen the loins of thy servants in the service of thy kingdom. O Lord, thou possessor of infinite mercy, O Lord of forgiveness and pardon, forgive our sins, pardon our shortcomings, and cause us to turn to the kingdom of thy clemency, invoking the kingdom of might and power, humble at thy shrine, and submissive before the glory of thine evidences. O Lord God, make us as waves of the sea, as flowers of the garden, united, agreed through the bounties of thy love. O Lord, dilate the breasts through the signs of thy oneness, and make all mankind as stars shining from the same height of glory, as perfect fruits growing upon the tree of life. Verily thou art the Almighty, the self-subsisting, the giver, the forgiver, the pardoner, the omniscient, the one creator. Abdu'l-Baha.
Good morning. My name is Anita Rangaswamy, and I'm on the board of the Arizona Interfaith Movement. I'm also on the Interfaith Council as the Hindu representative. For the past 2 years, the global pandemic has not only taken many lives prematurely, but it has also created fear, isolation, and uncertainty. It has affected the young, old, and everyone in between. People of all races, cultures, and socioeconomic strata have been impacted, our normal way of life has definitely been disrupted. During this time, the Arizona Interfaith Movement has tried to maintain a virtual presence as best as possible. We have representatives from 22 faiths encompassing the Abrahamic and the non-Abrahamic faiths. Our emphasis is on the Golden Rule, education, interfaith dialogue, and interfaith community service opportunities. The universal Golden Rule of treating others with respect, civility, kindness, and empathy is the thread that ties the pearls of wisdom emanating from each faith tradition. Together, we want to advance the Golden Rule of living towards a world of goodwill and peace. As we step into 2022, I want to offer a peace invocation in Sanskrit from the Taittiriya Upanishad. This peace chant includes the many names that are representations of the unmanifested divine cosmic power called Brahman. Brahman represents the eternal, infinite, universal, supreme truth. Let us pray. Om Shanno Mitra Shanvarunaha Shanno Bhavat Varyama Shanna Indro Brihaspatihi Shanno Vishnurukramaha Namo Brahmane Namaste Vayo Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahmasi Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahma Vadishyami Ritam Vadishyami Satyam Vadishyami Tanmam Avatu Tadvaktaram Avatu Avatu Mam Avatu Vaktaram. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. I pray that the leaders of the country and the leaders of organizations can take the right actions to address the systemic deficiencies that plague the society. I pray that the diverse communities of faith, culture, race, and color can connect with and support each other by acting on the tenets of the Golden Rule. I pray that every individual is also mindful and responsible to lead a conscientious, values-based life, one that is rooted in good thoughts, honest words, and sincere actions. Let us learn and live the Golden Rule to make every community and the world a better place. Namaste. Thank you.
All the praise belongs to Allah, the Lord of the worlds, the most compassionate, the most merciful, the ruler of the day of judgment. Only you we worship, and only you we ask for assistance. Guide us on the straight path, the path of those who you are pleased with, and not the path of those who you are angry with and went astray. On this blessed day of Martin Luther King, we're all reminded about the struggle that black people in this country went through in order to see some better days, in order to fight oppression, fight injustice. That struggle is still going. I pray that God makes us among those who continue to struggle for justice, human rights, and human dignity than every single one of us deserves in this world, because we are all the creation of God.
A special thanks to our interfaith participants. As we move closer to our award ceremony, I get the great honor to introduce a great friend who always reaches out to ask Ron, what do you need? What can I do? Now, from our nation's capital, someone who is no stranger to Arizona. Arizona Congressman Greg Stanton served on the Phoenix City Council, Arizona Attorney General's office, mayor of the city of Phoenix, and now congressman from Arizona's 9th Congressional District. Please join me in welcoming Congressman Greg Stanton.
Good morning, everyone. I can't wait till we can get together in person again to celebrate this incredibly important event, but I didn't want to miss this year even virtually because I know this is one of the most important events in our community. It's where I come to be inspired by those making such a positive difference in our community, those who continue the mission of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and the thousands of civil rights leaders who have made our country stronger and more just. I imagine, though, that if Dr. King could peek at us from heaven right now, that he would be awestruck by how much progress we have made as a nation, but also astounded that there is still so much work to do despite that progress. How so many of the challenges that we are facing today as a country are virtually exactly the same challenges he and other civil rights leaders faced decades ago. We know that on Dr. King's birthday, there are so many who praise Dr. King with their words, but stand in the way of America that he envisioned with his deeds. But it's up to us. It's up to us to overcome those in the United States Senate who stand in the way of protecting basic voter rights. It's up to us to overcome those who stand in the way of extending social justice to every American. It is up to us to remind the world of Dr. King's words that justice delayed is justice denied. And as we remind the world of that basic truth, we must also remind ourselves, those of us in the room today, that each of us can follow in Dr. King's footsteps, that each of us can and must make a difference. I've been inspired by so many people over the years in our own community, but I want to take a moment to remember a giant in our community, Vice Mayor Calvin Good. It still stings that we're having this MLK celebration without him, but I am forever grateful to have known him and called him a friend. He was the conscience for the people of the city of Phoenix, the conscience of the Phoenix City Council for decades. And he devoted everything he had to improving education in our community and making our city a better place for everyone. And I'm also inspired by today's honorees, Robin Coulon, Kim Covington, Lloyd Hopkins, Nadia Kaligi, Richard Yarborough. Thank you for what each of you do to make Phoenix and our region stronger. And let me also say a special thank you to a legend himself, Dr. Gene Blue, and Ron Williams, and Valerie Churchwell, and the entire Arizona MLK Celebration Committee for once again bringing people from all different backgrounds and walks of life together for this special event. Even in uncertain times, you have found a way to make sure our community continues to honor Dr. King's remarkable legacy and the incredible people in our own city who are making a positive difference. They serve as examples to us all, and their work has renewed the focus that we need to do in our city every day to make his dream a reality.
Thank you, Congressman Stanton. Now to greet us from Arizona's 7th Congressional District, please join me in welcoming Marine veteran, Congressman Ruben Gallego.
I'm Congressman Ruben Gallego. Welcome to the 36th Annual MLK Celebration. I hope everyone's safe and healthy, especially in this very trying year, though I do hope and believe that this will be the last really hurrah of COVID and we can finally go back to in-person meetings. I'd like to thank real quickly Dr. Gene Blue, Ron Williams, Valerie Churchwell, and everyone on the Arizona MLK Committee for continuing to bring us together, especially during these very difficult times, to celebrate the life and legacy of Martin Luther King Jr. and to recommit ourselves in the fight for racial, economic, and social justice for all. I'd like to also congratulate the recipients of the Lifetime Achievement Award, Robin Coulon, and the recipient of the Living the Dream Award, Kim Covington, Lloyd Hopkins, Nadia Kaligi, and Richard Yarborough. You are all keeping the spirit of MLK alive through your actions day in and day out. As I reflect on the challenges of our country that we have faced over the last years, and specifically the last 2 years, let us remember the words of Dr. King. True peace is not merely the absence of tension, it is the presence of justice. This year, the justice I am seeking comes in the form of confronting the scourge of voter suppression in America that is spreading like wildfire. In 47 states, 361 bills have been introduced to specifically target people of color, voters of color, and largely, to be honest, Black voters. They're trying to implement them, whether it is voter ID, closing polling places, purging of voter rolls, and just in general systematic disenfranchisement. Arizona itself is not immune. We have an attorney general who has argued for 2 laws that would disproportionately affect voters of color here in Arizona. And in Georgia alone, friends can't give food or water to voters that are standing in line at polling places. And it's not a coincidence that most of the polling places that have long lines are large Black voting precincts. And by banning even giving food or water to people standing, it's only another way to discourage Black voter participation. So these facts really should sicken all of us and have really brought me and called me to action. This is why I've teamed up with Representative Mondaire Jones of New York to include in the John Lewis Voting Rights Advancement Act legislation that is specifically designed to make sure that we have inclusivity when it comes to our voting process. It's called the Inclusive Election Act. So our work needs to continue. The House is doing everything it can. The Senate must step up at this point. If you honor the legacy of Martin Luther King, you cannot continue to support the filibuster in its efforts to stop Voting Rights Act. This Jim Crow era law needs to go. We cannot have justice based on an unjust procedure that is stopping progress in the Senate and in this country in general. So thank you so much for everyone being here. Congratulations to all the award winners, and congratulations to the committee for putting together another amazing event. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a great year.
Thank you, Congressman Gallego. As we move into the awards portion of the program, I want to take this moment to acknowledge the hard work of the Arizona MLK Celebration Planning Committee. A special thanks to our MLK subcommittee chairs, Marketing and Media Sponsorship, Chair Virginia Fargo, Co-Chair Jesse Airy. The Community Days of Service, Chair Monica Tipton. The 36th Annual Arizona Living the Dream Celebration, Co-Chair Valerie Churchwell. The Henry Barnwell Scholarship Fund, Chair Dr. Will Counts. The Candlelight Ceremony Concert, Co-Chairs Aubrey Barnwell, Dr. Will Counts, and Clara Briggs. The MLK March, Chair Marquise Scott. Co-Chair Antoine Skinner. MLK Festival, Chair Lynette Campbell, Co-Chair Emmett Boyd. The MLK Youth Celebration, Chair Dr. Camilla Westenberg. And the MLK Junior Basketball Classic, Mr. Emmett Boyd, Chair. A heartfelt thanks to all of our committee members. And now, I get the great honor to introduce a friend, a mentor, and a top Arizona leader, our keynote speaker, Dr. Pastor Warren H. Stewart, Sr. There are simply too many accomplishments and accolades to name, but I'll share a little bit about our keynote speaker. Dr. Warren H. Stewart, Sr. is a native of Coffeyville, Kansas, where he was reared in a Christian family and African-American church environment. He accepted Jesus Christ as his personal Savior at the age of 16 and preached his trial sermon at the age of 17. He is married to the Reverend Dr. Karen E. Carey Stewart, and they are the parents of a blended family of 5 sons and 2 daughters. He is presently the senior pastor of the First Institutional Baptist Church of Arizona and served there since July 1, 1977. Dr. Stewart's academic achievements are stellar and too many to name, along with his numerous awards and commendations from churches, colleges, civic and community organizations locally, statewide, and nationally. He was recognized by the Arizona Republic newspaper as one of 10 most influential leaders in the Valley. In 2003, he was named the Calvin C. Good Arizona MLK Lifetime Achievement Award honoree. Dr. Stewart was also inducted into the 30th anniversary of the Martin Luther King Jr. College of Ministry and Laity Board of Preachers, and had his oil painting portrait unveiled and hung in the Morehouse College Martin Luther King Jr. International Chapel in Atlanta, Georgia on April 9th, 2015. Dr. Stewart is an accomplished author and has written many books. His latest book is called Victory Together for Martin Luther King Jr., the story of Dr. Warren H. Stewart Sr., Governor Ephraim Lincoln, and the historic battle for a Martin Luther King Jr. holiday in Arizona. Dr. Stewart served as the first general chairperson for Arizonans for Martin Luther King Jr. state holiday, which contributed significantly to the legislative passage of Arizona's Martin Luther King Jr. holiday on September 21st, 1989. Dr. Stewart also organized and led Victory Together, a broad-based coalition that campaigned for a Martin Luther King Jr. Civil Rights Day in Arizona, which was won by an historic vote of the people in the general election on November 3rd, 1992. Dr. Stewart has been recognized by others as a man of conscience, commitment, and dedication to the cause of moral leadership, human rights, and a soldier for justice and equality. Please join me as I welcome our keynote speaker, Dr. Warren H. Stewart Sr.
Dr. Gene C. Blue, Chair, 36th Annual Arizona MLK Living the Dream Celebration. Ron Williams and Valerie Churchwell, co-chairs. Our 2022 Arizona MLK awardees, committee members, leaders, dignitaries, and my brothers and sisters. Thank you for this privileged opportunity to deliver the keynote address for this year's King celebration. I read in the Arizona Informant that the theme of the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Youth Celebration is If Dr. King Were Alive Today. Well, their theme inspired me to speak today from the subject, If Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Were Here Today. Again, if Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. were here today. Please welcome Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. to this podium at the seasoned age of 93. Greetings, brothers and sisters. It's good to be here. The last time I was in the Valley of the Sun was on June the 3rd, 1964, when I spoke for Arizona State University at Goodwin Stadium, after I spoke at the historic Tanner Chapel African Methodist Episcopal Church in Phoenix, Arizona. So much has changed since then. The Civil Rights Act of 1964, the Voting Rights Act of 1965, desegregation, integration, President Johnson's war on poverty, the election of thousands of African Americans to public office across the USA. Of special note, the historic election of Barack Hussein Obama Jr. as president twice, and the recent election of Kamala Harris as the first female and person of color as U.S. Vice President. My dream has become a reality in so many significant ways. After a decades-long fight that brought shame and disdain nationally and internationally, as well as losing $500 million in convention, entertainment, and sports boycotts of Arizona, on November 3rd, 1992, Arizona made history by being the only state in the union to win a Martin Luther King Jr. Civil Rights Day by a vote of the people. What an accomplishment, Arizona. Thank you for victory together. However, I am surprised and concerned about some areas of lack of progress relating to liberty and justice for all in these United States of America. In spite of obvious advances in race relations in our land, current data evidence that African Americans and other people of color still are not treated equally as white people relating to economic development, public education, health care, housing, policing and criminal justice, and politics. The current COVID-19 pandemic pushed healthcare disparities under the national spotlight as blacks died disproportionately from the virus. Our nation experienced injurious trauma collectively when we repeatedly saw Mr. George Floyd publicly executed in Minneapolis in May 2020 by uniformed police officers who ignored Mr. Floyd's dying pleas, "I can't breathe," and the voice of bystanders begging the police to get off of his black body. Tragically, that murder by cop is only one of the many injustices perpetrated by the so-called criminal justice system in America. But I must address my troubling distress about the recent attacks on democracy that have come forth boldly, arrogantly, fictitiously, and without conscience for rightness. I have never lost faith in democracy, regardless of how unjustly my people and I are treated. The democratic ideal of freedom and equality must be fulfilled for all, or all human beings will share in the resulting social and spiritual doom. Furthermore, Americans of goodwill have learned that no nation can long continue to flourish or to find its way to a better society while it allows any one of its citizens to be denied the right to participate in the most fundamental of all privileges of democracy, the right to vote. Voting is more than a badge of citizenship and dignity. It is an effective tool for change. Voting is the foundation stone for political action. Listen, I applaud every American who voted in the 2020 presidential election. However, I cannot and will not applaud those Americans who became sore losers when their presidential candidate lost both the popular and electoral college votes. How dare the losing candidate cast unfounded aspersions and perpetrates lies that the election was stolen. How deceitful and unpatriotic of governors and state legislatures to enact restrictions on voting rights under the cover of election integrity, simply because more people of color voted in the 2020 election than ever before against the sitting president. If that was not bad enough, on January 6, 2021, hundreds of angry, misguided, and unpatriotic men and women violently attacked our nation's capital in an outrageous attempt to overthrow the defeat of their candidate. Lives were lost. Over 150 police were brutally fought while protecting the vice president and members of Congress and their families. That is not democracy. That is not what our country stands for as the greatest democracy in the world. So I say to you who love justice, equality, equity, and democracy, stand up for voting rights. Stand up for the heart and soul of democracy. Stand up for the freedom to vote and John Lewis Voting Rights Advancement Acts. Stand up with my son, Martin III, and his family coming to Phoenix to urge Arizona's U.S. senators to lead Congress in passing voting rights legislation. Stand up for voting rights here in Arizona, and I will stand up with you. Yes, I will be standing right here with you. Stand up, stand up, stand up.
Thank you, Dr. Stewart, for that inspiring keynote address. We are deeply honored to have join us the son of the namesake that Arizona has celebrated for the last 36 years, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Martin Luther King III, along with his wife, Andrea, are in Arizona for an important national voting rights effort, and we are so honored to have them join us today. Please welcome Martin Luther King III and Andrea King.
Thank you to the Arizona Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Celebration Committee for their dedication to keeping my father-in-law's legacy of cultural diversity, awareness, and unity in the hearts and minds of people across Arizona. Through your work year after year, you continue to build communities in service of his vision. We would like to extend a special thank you to Dr. Jean Blue, Ron Williams, and Valerie Churchwell for your leadership, and a heartfelt congratulations to the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Calvin C. Good Lifetime Achievement Award honoree, Robin Coolin, and Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Living the Dream Award honorees, Kim Covington, Lloyd Hopkins, Nadia Khaliji, and Richard Yarbrough.
We are grateful to be joining you virtually today and in person tomorrow to honor my father's legacy with action. For the past 36 years, the Arizona ML King Celebration Committee has heeded the call and purpose of this holiday by recalling the historic civil rights events and reflecting on our ability to be true change agents. This year, we mark the holiday while in the midst of unprecedented attacks on our democracy, on our voting rights, on our ability to be heard and to be counted. However, we also mark the holiday during a critical moment to advance federal voting rights legislation, the Freedom to Vote Act, and the John Lewis Voting Rights Act.
That's why we are honored to join you this year as we heed that same call by showing up in service of our voting rights. Tomorrow, January 15th, we will come together in Phoenix for the Arizona Deliver for Voting Rights mobilization to rally, make our voices heard, and march on bridges, including the 16th Street overpass, to send a clear message to President Biden and Congress. You delivered for bridges, now deliver for voting rights. President Biden and Congress used their political muscle to deliver a vital infrastructure deal, and now we are calling on them to do the same to restore the very voting rights protections my father-in-law and countless other civil rights leaders bled to secure. Like those who crossed the Edmund Pettus Bridge on Bloody Sunday, we will not accept empty promises in the pursuit of my father-in-law's dream for a more equal and just America.
To remember my father is to remember the legacy of the voting rights fight and the hard-fought access to the ballot box he helped secure. To honor my father today is to ensure a relic of Jim Crow. The filibuster is not used to undo the rights of Black, brown, and indigenous Arizonans. Congress must choose our rights over the Jim Crow filibuster. From the Civil War to the Jim Crow era, the filibuster has blocked popular bills to stop lynching and end poll taxes. Now it's being used to block voting rights. The weaponization of the filibuster is racism cloaked in procedure, and it must go.
And in the last year alone, Arizonians have shown up and organized to end the stranglehold the filibuster has over our right to vote, over our voices in the democratic process. And we have arrived at this moment and opportunity because of the work so many of you have led day in and day out. When the people come together, our power becomes undeniable. So let's come together tomorrow to make clear we will not stop peacefully demonstrating and mobilizing to secure the right to vote for all Americans until the Senate and the President safeguard democracy for generations to come.
We will see you at South 15th Street and East Jefferson Avenue in Phoenix at 9 a.m. tomorrow to say it's time to deliver for voting rights. Thank you again, Dr. Jean Blue, Ron Williams, Valerie Churchwell, and the entire Arizona Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Celebration Committee for your leadership and partnership.
A big thanks to the King family for their participation in our 36-year celebration. This celebration event supports scholarships for students in need. To share a few words and introduce a scholarship winner, please welcome our Scholarship Committee Chair, Dr. Will Counts.
Thank you so much for this opportunity to speak about Bishop Henry Barnwell, who started the Martin Luther King Scholarship Program, which was later named after Bishop Barnwell. Bishop Barnwell lived his life with a sincere purpose, and that purpose involved helping people. And when you live your life with a purpose, your name lives on, especially if it's helping people even after you die. And Bishop Barnwell's name has got larger after he's gone, because it stays in the minds and hearts of the people he touched. Bishop Barnwell was especially interested in education because he understood that education not only strengthened the individual, but it strengthened the family and the community. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. fought tirelessly to improve access to education for the underserved, and Bishop Barnwell was greatly influenced by Dr. King, and he worked tirelessly to make it possible for students to receive education through scholarship assistance. Research has shown that lack of money is the main reason that students do not complete college, not lack of ability. The Henry Barnwell Martin Luther King Scholarship Program, currently under the leadership of Bishop Barnwell's son, Pastor Aubrey Barnwell, has been providing scholarships to students for over 40 years, and primarily to students who are often overlooked by traditional scholarship programs and those who would not be able to attend or complete college without financial assistance. This program is interested in identifying students that we can take the furthest or make the greatest impact in their lives with scholarship assistance. And at this time, it gives me great pleasure to introduce one of our recipients, Miss Serenity Smith.
Hello, my name is Serenity Smith. I'm extremely grateful to be a recipient of the Bishop Barnwell MLK Scholarship. I appreciate everyone who contributed to the fund, making it possible for me to attend college at the University of Arizona. The scholarship is important to me because it has helped me further pursue my degree as a business major. Thank you for helping me live my dream.
Thank you, Dr. Counts, and congratulations to our scholarship winners. Each year, the Phoenix Human Relations Commission, the Equal Opportunity Department, in collaboration with the Arizona MLK Committee, oversees the process of nominating, selecting, and honoring Valley residents for their lifelong commitment to creating a compassionate and socially just community. This year, we will recognize one MLK Calvin C. Good Lifetime Achievement Award honoree and 4 MLK Living the Dream honorees. To share with us more about the Phoenix Human Relations Commission, please welcome the chairperson, Nate Rolton.
Thank you. As chair of the City of Phoenix Human Relations Commission, it is
my job and our charge as a commission to promote respect and understanding among all groups by eliminating discrimination throughout the city of Phoenix. At no time has our mission been so keenly important as it is today. And in connection with Dr. Martin Luther King's dream and vision, we are setting out to transform the city of Phoenix. Yes, there is still so much work to do, and we at the city of Phoenix envision a city that is truly inclusive and free of discrimination. Congratulations to our awardees today who are leading by example, creating that change. And to all of our young people in Phoenix, particularly our Black youth, continue to raise your voice and help in this change, creating the city that we all know City of Phoenix can be. Thank you.
And now, the moment we have been waiting for, the presentation of our annual Arizona MLK Awards, presented by PetSmart and Verizon. They both have stepped up for the last few years as our legacy presenting sponsors, of which we are very grateful. Here to tell us more about Verizon and present the Arizona MLK Living the Dream Awards, please welcome Aisha Sashary.
Hello, I am Aisha Sashary. I'm here on behalf of Verizon. I would like to acknowledge Dr. Jean Blue from the Arizona MLK Committee Chair, Ron Williams, the Chair of the MLK Event and Activities and Chair of the Celebration, and Valerie Churchwell, the Co-Chair of the Celebration. Thank you for your work and contributions to this event. I am pleased and honored to also congratulate the honorees. So first, starting with the Dr. Martin Luther King Calvin C. Good Lifetime Achievement Award honoree, Robin Coulon. And I'd also like to congratulate the following honorees on the Dr. Martin Luther King Living the Dream Award: Kim Covington, Lloyd Hopkins, Nadia Kaligi, and Richard Yarbo. Congratulations from Verizon.
Thank you, Verizon. Now, your first Arizona MLK Living the Dream honoree, Kim Covington.
Dr. King inspired me because he was always sharply awake and reasonably disturbed about things that needed to change. He was a dreamer and a servant for his community. He prayed and he created messaging that people could organize and rally around. He knew that winning a battle didn't mean that he could just sit back and rest. But most of all, Dr. King inspired me because he loved, and that is at the heart of everything I do. People who've had a major influence in my life would be my ancestors and my parents. I'm a descendant of slaves who were ripped from their homes in Ghana. They survived that treacherous Middle Passage, that voyage across the Atlantic. They survived slavery, and they had the nerve to sneak around and learn how to read. It took them 12 years to do it, but they never gave up. My grandmother, we call Big Mama, had the nerve to argue in front of an all-white school board that her kids, my mama, shouldn't have to walk 20 miles to go to a colored school when the all-white school was right around the corner. When those kids spat in my mother's face when she integrated that school, she had the nerve to become valedictorian. My dad had the most amazing work ethic. He never missed a day of work, and he would get bonuses for that. And from those bonuses, he created a scholarship fund. And dozens of kids, maybe hundreds of kids, have been able to go to college because of that. That is nerve, right? They inspired me because they never gave up on their family and their community, and neither will I. I would ask Dr. King, how can you help me persuade my community to lead in the now, lead in the next, lead in the out there? How can you help me teach them how to work better together? and utilize the gifts, the power that we already possess, power that helped us build grocery stores and banks and the largest Black hospital in the world, Homer G. Phillips Hospital in 1937. How did we do that, Dr. King? And Dr. King would probably say, because we worked together then, and we must work together now. Thank you, Dr. King, for teaching us how to stick with love, because hate is too great a burden to bear. There's so many people I want to thank. First of all, I want to thank God and our Savior, Jesus Christ. And I want to thank my family, my husband, my kids, my parents. And thank you, Dr. King.
Thank you so much for this award. I'm reminded by the people I come in contact with every day who are doing impactful equity work across Arizona who deserve this award too. Thank you so much to the committee. You guys have been hitting this out of the park every year for almost 40 years, producing one of the most engaging MLK programs in the country. And I want to thank the community I serve and I love. As I mentioned in the video, it is the basis for everything that I do. And I'm motivated by two quotes. One from Malcolm X, who said, "When I is replaced by we, even illness becomes wellness." And Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who said, "Love is the greatest force in the universe. It is the heartbeat of the moral cosmos. He who loves is a participant in the being of God." Let us all work together to solve the problems in our community. Let's love. Thank you so much.
Congratulations, Kim Covington. Our next sponsor to co-present is the Arizona Community Foundation.
Thank you, Ron. On behalf of the Arizona Community Foundation, I'm thrilled to co-present and congratulate the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Living the Dream honorees, Richard Yarborough, Nadia Kaligi, Lloyd Hopkins, and my colleague, Kim Covington. I'm also thrilled to congratulate Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Calvin C. Good, Lifetime Achievement Awardee, Robin Kulan, who, like Dr. King and the late Calvin Good, has always been a trailblazer in championing equity for all. As the chair of the Arizona Community Foundation's Board of Directors, Robin continues to lead our work in the community by providing sound leadership and advice. Congratulations again, and a big thank you to all of the honorees, organizers, and supporters for working to make Arizona better for all.
Thank you, Arizona Community Foundation. Your next Arizona MLK Living the Dream honoree, Lloyd Hopkins.
Someone who has had an influence on my life is Sean Jay-Z Carter. Just how he has used his music to create influence and impact the world. There's music, and then there's the business, and there's the music business, and he just happens to be both. And I apply that statement to my work in the nonprofit world, is that there's the nonprofit business, and that you have to be good at your philanthropic work as a nonprofit leader, but you also have to be good on the business side of running a nonprofit. You have to know how to generate revenue. You have to know how to engage donors. You got to know how to really expand and grow the work that you're doing. And so I pride myself on trying to not only lead with love and compassion and put the community first, but also take a real business approach to the work that I do with $1 Million Teacher Project. If Dr. King was here today, I would say thank you. I know that sometimes there were folks in the Black community that were critical of him. He was dealing with systemic oppression and systemic injustice, and that's a lot for one man to hold on his shoulders. How did he seek peace for himself while going through that? How did you keep yourself with perspective, and not get too lost in it, not too high, too low, or did you? I'd be interested in how he practiced self-care, you know, in a time when self-care wasn't as catchy of a word it is right now. You know, how did you keep yourself together dealing with the world on your shoulders would be one of the questions I would have for Dr. King. Thank you, Dr. King, for being an example of how we can reach across the aisle and connect with people that we may have different ideologies. If we start with respect for each other, we can move mountains. I appreciate you, Dr. King. So I would like to thank my wife, Kashana Hopkins, for being my partner in everything. I don't think I'd be sitting here accepting this award or being able to focus on my organization the way I have been without having such a mighty, strong, and powerful partner. Thank you, Dr. King.
I would like to thank my team at Million Dollar Teacher Project for all the support that you've done that has helped and contributed to me getting this honor today. Sharon Baum for the nomination. I'm truly grateful. I also want to thank the AZ MLK Commission, the Phoenix Human Relations Commission, and the Equal Opportunity Department. I'm a kid from Maryville, grew up on the west side that used to attend this event every single year. To receive this type of honor is truly humbling and fuel for me to continue doing the work. Thank you.
Congratulations, Lloyd Hopkins. Our next sponsor to co-present is Salt River Project.
I'm grateful for the opportunity to join you for this celebration that honors the life of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Thank you to the Arizona Opportunities Industrialization Center and the MLK Committee for being the driving force behind this event and for all the great work you do to assist those in our community who are unemployed, underemployed, or are experiencing homelessness. You are truly acting in the spirit of Dr. King's message of caring and compassion. SRP greatly values our partnership with the center, and we're proud to continue to support the Martin Luther King Jr. Day celebration. I want to recognize our own Darlene Ginty, who serves on the MLK Day committee, as well as the SRP employees who volunteer their time and effort to help. SRP aspires to fully apply the power of diversity, inclusion, and belonging to build a more equitable and sustainable future for our customers and our employees. We have a strong commitment to ensuring that our workforce truly reflects our community. We don't have to look far to recognize that there's much work to do. At the same time, there are also many reasons to be hopeful and optimistic. Finally, I want to congratulate the unsung heroes being honored today with the AZ MLK Living the Dream Award and the MLK Lifetime Achievement Award. Thank you for all that you do, and let's keep working together to achieve a better Arizona and a better world for all.
Thank you, Salt River Project. Your next Arizona MLK Living the Dream honoree, Nadia Kaligi.
The inspirations have been countless, but there is a quote that comes to mind. I'd love to share it with you. Whatever affects one directly affects all indirectly. I can never be what I ought to be until you are what you ought to be. And you can never be what you ought to be until I am what I ought to be. This quote has inspired me in so many ways that at the end of the day, we cannot move forward if we are not all one. I'm the youngest of four and with a large age gap. So really I consider, rather than having two parents, I feel like I have five parents. They have each influenced me quite a bit through the years. Another person, Oscar DeGroux, one of my amazing mentors. The one person that stands out more than anyone is Abdu'l-Baha, who is a perfect exemplar of how to be and how to serve humanity. He came to the U.S. in 1912, and he came to the U.S. to share a message of love, unity, harmony between the races. And of course, 1912, at a time in the U.S. where segregation was at its height, When he came, he spoke to various audiences. In 1 week, he spoke to over 10,000, both black and white, at Brown University. And he was asked to give the closing remarks of the 4th annual convention of the NAACP. If Dr. King were here today, I would simply ask, what can I do next? What steps can I take? What else can I do in the fight for racial unity? Thank you, Dr. King, for reminding me to use love to change hearts, for reminding me that it is only through the power of love that we can move forward and bring about racial harmony. I've been very lucky in my life to have been surrounded by people that are movers and shakers to make change. From my family to my youth with Oscar DeGroot to my current surroundings, my gratitude is to my colleagues for holding me accountable and making me work harder, making me take longer strides. Thank you, Dr. King.
What an immense gift. Thank you so much. I'd like to thank my family and my friends. I'd like to thank my sister and my mom for the nomination. Fariba Hickinson, Katoyun, Nosratollah, Courage, Sirus Khaliqi, my dear daughter Layla, and all of them for their unconditional love. And I wanted to thank my mentors and dear friends who have really affected me and helped me to be able to contribute to society as best as I can through their love. Oscar DeGroot, Bob Kavon, Ron Williams, Colleen Byron, Kiana Sears, Moshe Katani, and my Baha'i community. Dr. King showed us his dream and asked us to respond with a full heart. This recognition has fueled my already ignited heart to use love, compassion, empathy, and to continue the fight for justice and civil rights. Thank you.
Congratulations, Nadia Khaligi. Our next sponsor to co-present is Mercy Care.
Hello, my name is Demario Vaughn with Mercy Care. We're a local nonprofit organization providing health care to Arizona's most vulnerable populations for more than 30 years. Mercy Care is honored to support this very important community event, honoring the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. We know that COVID has magnified the depths of the healthcare disparities for people of color, and protests over racial injustices have reignited a call for civil rights, equity, and justice. Mercy Care is committed to the advocacy for racial justice, to equality, to offering access to quality physical and behavioral health services, and speaking up for those who cannot always advocate for themselves. You can learn more about Mercy Care at mercycareaz.org. Thank you.
Thank you, Mercy Care. Your next Arizona MLK Living the Dream honoree, Richard Yarbo.
Dr. King has inspired me in my volunteer work by giving me a standard of excellence. What has resonated with me is in his book, The Measure of a Man, he talks about your station in life. Whatever you do, do it to the best of your ability. I think he said that if you're a street sweeper, sweep like Michelangelo painted the Sistine Chapel. And I've taken that as something that I try to do the very best to whatever work is placed in my hand. My grandparents were major influences in my life. I've always appreciated the sacrifice that they made to rear me after having already done that for their own children. They were living examples for me because both of them served their community in different ways. My grandfather as an Army veteran, and my grandmother was a community services worker. The volunteers at Pilgrim Rest are the best that I have ever seen. And I'm here in large part because of the people with whom I work. You can't accomplish great things by yourself. Growing up playing sports, I played team sports and recognized the value of working with other people. And I have been honored to serve with some of the best volunteers in any organization. I would ask Dr. King, if he were here today, if he was disappointed by the current state of affairs as it relates to race relations in the United States. For someone who dedicated his life to civil rights, to see where we are and the division that exists within our society today, I would ask him, what were his thoughts and what advice he would give to current generation of civil rights activists. Thank you, Dr. King, for leaving such a great example of manhood and for dedicating your life to the struggle that we still face today and for just being selfless. You and your sacrifices are still a model of how we, as a current generation of African Americans, should address the challenges that we face in trying to matriculate in America. I would thank a lot of people. In Phoenix, I would thank Bishop Thomas for the time that we spent together and the work that we were able to accomplish at Pilgrim Rest, and just for trusting and believing in me. I would certainly thank my grandparents. I would thank my many coaches and teammates and all the people who did something to help me become the person that I am. And most of all, I thank my current team of Pilgrim Rest workers, staff, and volunteers who just make me look good. Thank you, Dr. King.
Thank you, Ron. I'm humbled to be in the presence of my fellow honorees today, to whom I offer my congratulations. Special thanks to Brother Emmett Boyd, the MLK Living the Dream Committee, and the City of Phoenix Human Relations Commission for their nomination and selection. I'd also like to thank God today for his favor, for wisdom and guidance to allow me to do this work. The Pilgrim Rest staff and volunteers who work tirelessly and who have dedicated so much to helping get me to this place. This award is as much a reflection of their efforts as my own. And last but not least, I'd like to thank my wife and my family for the amount of time and energy that they've sacrificed over the years to allow me to do this work. I'm forever grateful. Thank you.
Congratulations, Richard Yarbo. Next, our final sponsor to co-present the Living the Dream Awards, USAA.
USAA has a long-standing commitment of diversity and inclusion. It shows up in our standards. It shows up as a strategic imperative for all of us. In years past, we've honored this strategic imperative of diversity and inclusion by having our employees participate in the local community Martin Luther King Day March. This year, because of events in the world, we're going to show our support virtually by having an entire week dedicated to our employees' understanding of diversity and inclusion and of Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King once said, "The time is always right to do what is right." Our support this year demonstrates that commitment, and we're very proud sponsors to do what is right for our community and our employees.
Thank you, USAA. I want to again thank all of our sponsors who presented our Living the Dream Awards, and congratulations to all of the honorees. Next, as we have our legacy presenting sponsor, PetSmart, represented by Lisa Robinson Davis, present the Arizona MLK Lifetime Achievement Award, we take this opportunity to honor the late Honorable Calvin C. Good, for which this award was named after, with a brief moment of silence. To the Good family, just know that we will continue to acknowledge his work and honor Calvin C. Good's name with this award. Thank you, Calvin C. Good. May you rest in peace. Now, to present the 2022 Arizona MLK Calvin C. Good Lifetime Achievement Award to Robin Coulon, please welcome Lisa Robinson Davis.
Good morning, everyone. I'm grateful to be a part of this event as we celebrate the powerful legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Events like this are extremely important for our community. Despite the myriad of challenges that we faced recently, progress in support of basic human and civil rights must be commemorated. This morning, as we consider Dr. King's lasting impact, we also have the opportunity to recognize a few of the remarkable individuals working tirelessly to make a difference and drive lasting change for the people of Arizona. Congratulations to each of our Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Living the Dream Award honorees. I'd also like to congratulate MLK Calvin C. Good Lifetime Achievement honoree, Robin Coulon. Robin, we applaud you for your long-term dedication and lifetime of service to this community. PetSmart is proud to support each of this year's award recipients and the organizations in Phoenix that unite our community and celebrate diversity, inclusion, and equity. We believe that unconditional love, a very important lesson that we learn every day from our pets, is the heart of our culture at PetSmart. We believe our organization is strongest when we're united together. In fact, united together is one of our core values. Through this value, we put diversity and inclusion front and center and strive to foster an environment where people from diverse backgrounds can excel. We know that by working together, we can accomplish great things. In 2020, PetSmart made a commitment to take meaningful actions in support of Black associates and communities. We've since enhanced our development and recruiting activities to expand Black representation and increased grant funding from PetSmart charities to support pets and pet parents in underrepresented communities. We also have established a $1 million scholarship fund to support associates of color as they advance through their educational aspirations. PetSmart is proud to support and participate in the ongoing community dialogue around social justice, diversity, inclusion, and equity in Arizona and beyond. While we're here today as a sponsor, we also stand with you as a community partner and ally. Congratulations to all of this year's award recipients. Thank you for your selfless commitment to our community. May Dr. King's legacy continue to light your path forward.
The legacy of Dr. King endures and still inspires us today. He reminds us of whose shoulders we stand on, who and what we stand for, and who has really made the way for all of my accomplishments and achievements in my life. Like Dr. King, my volunteer work has been fueled by my love for God and really incorporates a lot of my interests and my talents, my experiences, and all of the things that I really feel is important, not only as a woman of color, but as a daughter of a veteran, as an attorney who serves the poor and seniors in our community, as well as an American citizen. I care about arts, education, healthcare, and all of those things. And like Dr. King said, which I really took to heart, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. I am truly blessed. There were many individuals who had a significant influence on my life, but I'd have to say that I attribute my determination, my fortitude, and my resilience to my parents, Rodney and Helen Coulon, who led by their faith on a daily basis through love and compassion, and who taught my sister and I the importance of education, importance of community, and who also shared their wisdom and enforced their rules, but allowed us to be our authentic selves. I would have to say that I attribute my confidence and my courage to all of the mentors that have been in my life. Mentors of all different races, genders, occupations, and experiences who have seen something in me and wanted to encourage something in me, and who were voices of reason when I felt belittled or discriminated against. And I'd have to say that two very important mentors to me were Jean and Betty Fairfax, who were contemporaries of Mr. Calvin Good here in Arizona. Yeah, anyone who knew the Fairfax sisters knew that they were the epitome of strength, integrity, grace, but determination. And they introduced me to the power of philanthropy. And I've been really thinking about the influence of former Arizona Attorney General Grant Woods, who gave me an opportunity to work with a team of diverse lawyers throughout the state who were interested in addressing civil rights issues, which was rare for an individual like Grant to be interested in civil rights. But he really encouraged us to investigate housing discrimination cases, to support disability rights, and to address the issues of racial profiling. And in that way, by giving me the opportunity to share in that experience, that was something that really was a big influence in my career. If Dr. King were here today, I would thank him for showing us that our true greatness is in our service to others. I'm aware that before he died, he asked us to examine the economic circumstances that makes philanthropy necessary. I would ask Dr. King whether his view on philanthropy had changed and whether he sees the collaborative efforts of philanthropy as important and playing an important and significant role. Thank you, Dr. King, for continuing to inspire us with your vision for America. Your influence and genuine compassion for others is still guiding us today. And I'd like to thank the staff of the Area Agency on Aging, the Arizona Community Foundation, and all of the other essential workers who continue to serve our community throughout COVID and who inspire me every day. Thank you, Dr. King.
This has been a challenging 2 years for so many of us in so many ways, and my heart goes out to all who need compassion, understanding, and our support as we continue to cope with this pandemic and its aftermath. But today, my heart is also filled with gratitude. Gratitude for all of those who have believed in me, trusted me, and who surround me with their love every day. I'm so honored and deeply humbled after 30 years of quietly but deliberately sowing seeds out there to be recognized by my community in such a prestigious way. I cannot express enough how especially grateful I am to be the daughter of Rodney and Helen Coulon, two loving parents who wanted to give my sister and I safety, confidence, and the things they didn't have. I'd like to thank and pay homage to the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and the Honorable Calvin C. Good for their inspiration, leadership, and vision. Their legacies live on through those of us who continue to serve our communities and seek equality and justice for all people. As chair of the Arizona Community Foundation, I lead with a humble servant's heart, with investment strategies for all of our Arizona communities always in mind, giving honor to those who made it possible for me to be here. The important role philanthropy can play in our communities at this critical time in our history is reflected not only with my recognition, but by the outstanding community work of each of the other honorees this year. I'd also like to thank Mayor Kate Gallego, the Phoenix Human Relations Commission, Ron Williams and the MLK Celebration Committee, and my nominator for supporting me, and offer my sincere thanks to Dr. Blue and the OIC for their role in this stellar program and for the 36 years the City of Phoenix has honored Dr. King in this significant way. Last but not least, I'd like to extend my heartfelt thanks and congratulations to Kim, Richard, Lloyd, and Nadia, such amazing and talented servant leaders. I'll end by saying, it's my strong belief that each of us make a choice. We can either choose to stand by or we can choose to take action, as Dr. King and Mr. Good and Congressman John Lewis and Cesar Chavez and the Fairfax sisters and so many others have demonstrated. They believed, as I do, that difficult but good things are within our grasp with faith and determination. We owe it not only to them, but to each other to choose to take action. And as Dr. King often said, and which still rings true today, the time to take action is now. So while I breathe, I, for one, hope to live up to the legacy of Dr. King and the other award recipients and continue to do what I can to make a difference. Thank you again, and what a true honor.
Congratulations to Robin Coulon and all of our Arizona MLK Living the Dream honorees. For closing remarks, please welcome back our co-chair, Ron Williams.
Thanks to all of our participants. We thank our great mayor, Kate Gallego, for welcoming us. We appreciate the torch runners, led by Valerie Churchwell. And a special thanks to PetSmart and Verizon for presenting our program today. We also appreciate the support of the Arizona Community Foundation, Salt River Project, Mercy Care, and USAA. And a big thanks to the team members of the Orpheum Theater for being such great hosts. And of course, we thank our great partners, the world-class team at the City of Phoenix and Channel 11. Thanks to our harmonic musical guest performer, Julian Davis. To all of our interfaith participants, thank you for blessing us, as well as Congressman Stanton and Ruben Gallego. To our speakers, our keynote speaker, Dr. Warren H. Stewart Sr., and our special guest speakers, Martin Luther King III and Andrea King, thank you for blessing us with your words. Congratulations to our scholarship winners, Arizona MLK Living the Dream honorees, and our 2022 Lifetime Achievement Award honoree, Robin Coulon. Congratulations on a lifetime of service. In closing, I was once told you can preach a better sermon with your life than with your lips. That is evident today by our honorees. In terms of hope, so many community champions that came before us said that hope is a discipline. Hope isn't passive. Hope demands action and proactive work. And so I am hopeful today because there were many people before us that were hopeful and enacted that hope through action by the way they lived their lives and the decisions they made. You see, none of us can do everything, but everyone can do something. You never know who will stand up with you if you don't stand up first. Those of you brave enough to choose a life of service, please know this. Everybody that came with you won't go with you. I promise you. Every time you level up to change and serve others and your community, you're probably going to lose some people along the way. Community service is to help your fellow man. It's not for everybody, because some people confuse their goals with their purpose. Some of us have been taught to love our neighbors as ourselves. Our task right now is to have a sense of possibility that we, in 2022, can write a better story for our 2023 and into the future. On behalf of Dr. Jean Blue, Valerie Churchwell, and our entire committee, I just want to say, let's please all take care of each other. God bless you all, and God bless the United States of America. That concludes our 36th annual Arizona MLK Living the Dream celebration. Good day.